What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Really excited to jump into the Maxace Peregrine. Let's jump into it. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to do some size comparisons. Then we'll check out the profile to see how it compares against some of those knives as well. We'll weigh the knife, and then we're going to jump into my thoughts and impressions. Let's go ahead and kick it off with some size comparisons. I feel like I'm missing some knives, but anyway, here it is against the Spyderco Para 3 and the Spyderco Shaman. So you can see the Peregrine is a full-size knife, but not like some of Maxace's over-the-top sized, humongous, large knives. It's actually a really nice size, and I like it a lot. One thing that I'm going to mention right out the gate, this one is on washers, so that's why you're seeing a bunch of washer knives being compared today. Here it is against the Benchmade Bug Out, which I consider to be more of a medium-sized EDC, not quite that full size. And here it is against the Tactile Maverick, which I think it compares very well to. Now, having said that, let's check that profile comparison out against the Maverick, because the Maverick is actually more of a thinner EDC, a lighter weight carry. This is more of a full size. You see that action there on those bearings. You can see definitely much more thicker, but it's pretty comparable when you take a look at it against the Shaman. So really close in thickness there. So it's going to give you more of that Shaman thickness experience and size. Let's check the weight out here. I don't think I weighed this one. Definitely 5 ounces. Gotta be. I don't know that I've ever hit it on the money, but coming right in at 5 ounces, I was expecting it to even potentially be just a skosh over, but it definitely feels like a 5 ounce knife. Let's jump into this one. This is a very interesting build. It's my first time experiencing any Maxace. I did not even realize that they do phosphor bronze washers. So you can see here, while it is good action and you can get it to fall to the thumbnail, it's not bearing type action. So I just want to express that. This is going to be more like the Shaman, Para 3, Bug Out, Tactile Maverick, those knives that I had out here, which over time can get really, really smooth and you can get some fall shut action out of it, but it's not going to be as sharp of a drop as you're going to see on bearings. I really like that they were inspired by the Sabenza 21 to have the dual inlays here and a little bit of milling in the middle to kind of give it some character. And they did a really good job. You can feel the transition in some spots, but it's very subtle. It's not like noticeable, like poor workmanship. It's pretty well done. I also really like this Topo Design copper carbon fiber inlay. It looks really good, and I even like the fact that they didn't skimp. They didn't just do the top and not do the lock bar. They added some parts to the lock bar. I like that. It's a little strange. I like this pocket clip. It works really good. Nice springy action. It's not too strong, and it's not too soft, so it's got good grip. Just a little weird that they did this in like an acid etch and not matching the rest of the knife. I think it would have looked a little bit better matching the rest of the knife. The lockup is coming in about 30%. Lock bar access is really good. They slightly chamfered, and then they gave you a little bit of milling here so that you can get in there very easily. And I like that because you can get it to drop to the nail. You can do that European thumb in lock and close, and you can even just pull up and then close it. It hasn't quite broken in. I've carried it for, I don't know, 3 days, maybe 4. Yeah, because when it first got here, I carried it that day too. So I've carried it 4 days. But I wanted to jump in on this. I really like this design a lot. It does remind me a little bit of the Sabenza in the fact that you have the one thumb stud. They did not knock it down to put the thumb stud access to the lefties, which really wouldn't make sense. Even trying to flip it with the front flipper, it's a little sketch for me. I'm usually pretty good about feeling comfortable about putting the fingers in there, but because it is full size without that thumb pocket clip for my fingers to rest on the other side in addition to the lip here, It does feel a little sketch. I can do it, but I'm primarily opening this right-handed. It just feels so much more natural. It's nice to have, and actually I land in the cutout a little bit here, and I do use the middle finger because that extra little bit of tension, oop, I missed, on the lock bar when you're deploying it makes it feel snappy. You can see like it kind of is mushy for that front flipper, but if you put your thumb down on that, I mean not your thumb, if you put your finger on that lock bar and then just a little bit of pressure, not squeezing it too much, but just kind of natural, relaxed pressure where you're just almost just resting it on there, it feels snappy then. Detent feels better for sure with the thumb stud than it does that front flipper. I can get it to open, but you gotta snap it. You can't let lazily do it because it won't open all the way. You have to really snap it. I am probably going to do the disassembly here after this one. I got the live stream coming up in about an hour, so I should have time depending on how long I take on the review. But I think just a little bit of tuning because I don't want to push the lockup in there too much because that can create some lock stick. Depending on where it lays naturally, I might try to just work it over a tiny microscopic amount to see if that does anything. It's a really interesting build in a day and age where we see a lot of bearing knives that you have this premium titanium carbon fiber inlay handled knife with a very interesting steel design here. You have ZDP 189 marked as the steel type, but you can tell looking at this, it has a jacket. And you can really tell that when you look at the spine of the knife. I'm hoping it'll come through on camera, but you can see in the middle that the center, the core must be ZDP 189, but they don't advertise what steel's used for the jacket. And if it is ZDP 189, I'm assuming that they might have some sort of fairly good steel on the outside just to prevent the corrosion, but you can see the jacket finishes way up high, so you got plenty of sharpening life. The plunge grind is way back here. They did a good job. The plunge grind is behind where the jacket ends, so you got some good sharpening knife on there. And if you lay back that edge, you could probably even go way into that, but for an everyday carry knife, you're probably not going to see that. Ergos are extremely comfortable. You can feel like where the milling is here in the palm, but it's not a hot spot. You can just feel the transition. Super comfortable. I like the chunkiness of this. It feels very good in hand. It came with a nice edge from, this is the receipt for me returning my other laptop, which I've already been credited for. So we're good. We got at least one piece of paper up here that I am going to split into two pieces so that I can use it in case I forget to bring up the paper that I have downstairs for scrap again later. Did I cut card? I think I just tested it on a section of cardboard. I don't think I broke a whole box down with this. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Because if I broke down some cardboard, I mean, it has like no blemishes. And again, this is my first knife in ZDP 189, so I don't know about its edge retention personally. I think it has a good heat treat from Maxace, but again, I don't know that because it's my first time. I keep hitting that plunge grind. This is my first time experiencing the steel. So I'm assuming that, it's probably on the lower end of being in the good range for this. And my editor is going to have to throw that up on the screen because I just drew a blank. Unless I wrote it down. Did I write it down here? No, I did not. I did not write it down. Sorry, future me. Sorry, editor. Didn't write it down. But I'm really impressed. Now, ZDP 189 jacketed, titanium inlays, Foster bronze washers. This knife came in at $274. I found this on the live stream at Blade HQ as a new arrival, and then I came back a week later and I mentioned this in the unboxing if you saw it, so apologies if you're hearing this twice. It was gone when I came back a week later, and I was kind of disappointed because I kept thinking about it in that week span, which to me let me know that I was very interested in this knife. And while it does, and I'll throw a picture up of a 21, while it does, because of how the inlays are, remind me of the Sabenza, I don't think it's trying to copy that. You know, I think that this is a way that they broke it up to maybe pay a little bit of homage, or that they were inspired by that design. I think the designer probably liked that. The Sabenza is a little bit more sharp on the angles, and I think they have the lanyard hole, if I recall correctly. No, they have the tube. They have the tube. It has a hole in it, right? The 21 has a hole drilled in it. I think it does. And then it's a much more sharp, you know, and it's hollow ground. So very different in that regard. So I think sometimes when you do things like this, people say that, but I don't think this is a clone or a knockoff or a ripoff. I think there's some inspiration there, but I really don't get the Sabenza 21 vibes. But I like this. I think for the money, a very interesting, unique steel. I love that they got the jacket on here to try to fight the corrosion as opposed to just coating it. And the finishes are really well done. They did a good job on this. And well, you know what? That pocket clip might match the thumb stud. So maybe I take back. I still would have liked it to match. I think I'd have liked it to match. I think that the inlays set it off enough. I mean, unless there's a plain, I didn't really look. There might be a plain Jane one out there, and in that case, that contrast would create some color. I like this one. What do you think about the Maxace Peregrine? And you know, the branding, it is small enough print. I don't usually like it down here on the blade. I usually like it up here, and they had the space for it. I would have liked to have seen it moved up and maybe a skosh smaller, but it's such a faint enough print that it doesn't bother me that much. Not as much as I thought it was going to. But what are your thoughts about this? Leave a comment down below about this one. Shout out to everyone out there that leaves the likes, the comments, that is subscribed. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.